Hi, I'm Mike Gingell. I'm the chairman of the Republican caucus for the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, and I'm here to talk to you about the 2020 election, which is so critical for the Board of Commissioners and for the future of Oakland County. In Oakland County, the Board of Commissioners approves the budget, provides oversight to over $980 million that's spent each year, and sets policy for the county's 4,000 plus employees. Since taking the majority in 2008, the Democrats have been dismantling the financial practices that have allowed Oakland County to be managed so well over the years. A few examples of this include providing $500,000 in funding to Planned Parenthood, eliminating the county's purchasing policy where we always chose the lowest and most responsible bidder, allowing illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses within Oakland County, and giving all Oakland County employees voting day off at a cost of $1.2 million to the taxpayers, even though every individual has the ability to vote absentee, no questions asked. The list goes on and on. The only way to stop it is to win back the Republican majority on the Board of Commissioners, and we only need one seat to do so. We have the candidates. We need you to support them. Please get involved and stay engaged. Working together, we can win, and we can bring fiscal responsibility and wise policy making back to Oakland County. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your help.
Mike Cowell is going to speak with us now. Mike is a candidate for the county executive, and as we keep emphasizing, it's just critical that the Republicans take over control of the county commission. So with that, Mike, would you tell us why you're running and what you bring to the picture?
Well, I'm running because of the way I'm seeing the county going right now with the change in the administration. There's a tremendous amount of money being wasted. I'm seeing things that under the Patterson administration never would have taken place. But most importantly, we have to maintain the momentum of Oakland County with our economic development teams. The administration that's there now seems to have lost its focus on economic development and focusing more on social issues and social justice issues. That's all great. I mean, it's important that we address these things, but at the same time, we can't lose track of where we're going. Bringing in new industries, bringing in better, educational systems to support those industries, in the long run will benefit Oakland County, and I think it'll benefit all our residents as well. I'm a turnaround expert. I've turned White Lake Township around when it was in dire straits quite a few years ago, and I did the same thing working with Governor Snyder, turning Michigan around. So I know the direction we have to go in, and I'm very anxious to get started.
Okay, Mike, what has prepared you to manage as CEO of a nearly $1 billion organization?
Well, I was CEO of a small construction company in my early years. Later on, going to Lansing, being chairman of a variety of different committees. Criminal justice was one of them, where we made a big difference for people's lives here in Michigan. And then later on in the Senate, being the Senate Majority Floor Leader, and we had a very large budget, $50 billion budget in the state. When you're a state, it's not that big. So I have the ability to lead. I've proven that in the past, and I'm hoping to do it again here for Oakland County and making a big difference.
Okay, second question. What is the first issue you would tackle? Why is it so important, and how would you approach it?
I think the first issue that we're going to have to attack is the looming debt that's out there right now with this COVID virus tragedy that has taken place. We're going to see a lot of money being spent, and there's going to be a lot more spent. We're going to have to make some change just so we can keep our AAA bond rating, so we can keep our debt load down. The other part is we're hearing a lot about defunding police departments. And I believe that would be a very big mistake. They are brothers and sisters in blue that are protecting us. And in Mike Bouchard's case, they wear brown, but they do a great job for us here in Oakland County. And I want to make sure that we show them our support. So we have to make sure they maintain their budgets.
Well, Mike, is there anything else you want to add before we end this recording?
Well, Brooks Patterson left us a really great blueprint as to the directions where to go. All we have to do is basically follow this blueprint and then expand on it, bringing in new industries into the county, things like pharmaceutical companies, medical manufacturing companies that have historically gone overseas. We need to bring them back to Michigan. I've talked to a lot of people, and they're in full agreement that this is what we need to do. We need to keep these industries here at home. And Oakland County is very well suited, both with the talent of the people, the education groups that we have here, the Oakland University, our access to hospitals. So we're in a very good position to bring these type of businesses back to Oakland County. And I'm looking forward.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate your time and you're giving us an overview.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, introducing our candidate for County Executive, Jeffrey Nutt. Jeffrey's going to give us a short summary of his campaign initiatives and then answer a couple of questions. So with that, Jeffrey?
Yes, I'm Jeffrey Nutt, Republican running for Oakland County Executive. I'm a state bar champion of justice, owner of Jeffrey G. Nutt and Associates, an Oxford University Fulbright Scholar alum, Troy Trump supporter, married to an OBGYN doctor who has delivered over 1,000 local babies. I will bring to Oakland County a new level of prosperity. We'll be third in per capita income again. We're now, unfortunately, now at 17th, but we were at third once before. A lawyer, I'm a fighter like L. Brooks Patterson. I served Chief Justice Berger. I trained with the Michigan governor, served 2 Senate offices, a U.S. State Department office, as well as residents in 50 area communities and 60 schools, oversee 20 accounting departments, as well as multi-million-dollar programs, administering more than 130 courses in business, management, leadership, and IT. I've spoken to more than 25,000 people. I'm fighting for every individual, every family, every worker, every business, every school, every community, for a better economy, the best educational system, the very best healthcare and county operations in government. We need a new executive in Oakland County. The current practice of leaving hundreds of millions of federal dollars on the table, which Oakland County pays tax money given to other states for their transit, is wrong. My plan calls for a simple reform to draw down the federal funds to ease your pain by improving roads without new taxes, as well as easing congestion and increasing access to great jobs, great health care, and the new economy with the best possible government operations. I'm pro-family, pro-worker, pro-growth. Visit jeffnutt.com.
Okay, Jeff, thank you so much. Couple of questions. What has prepared you to manage as CEO of a nearly billion-dollar organization?
Well, as I mentioned, I've overseen multi-million-dollar programs, as well as more than 20 accounting departments. I'm the only candidate who has experience in all 3 branches of the federal government, as well as on the international and state levels and in Oakland County. I've served schools and as well as communities in 50 different localities in this area. I'm the immediate past executive director of Neighborhood Legal Services Michigan, the premier legal services program in the state of Michigan. I'm a Troy lawyer, an online dean, and I've also helped businesses here as well as in other countries. And because I'm a Fulbright scholar, I know how to get things done. I've overseen programs that have also helped address those affected by a virus through the Ryan White Act program that I was executive director of, known as the Legal Advocacy Project, serving victims of HIV/AIDS that covered this county and other counties, as well as even victims of Hurricane Katrina who fled to Southfield and needed our help. I've overseen 7+ chief executives, more than 100 professionals and consultants. I've chaired an enrollment team to enroll more than 300 volunteer lawyers to assist victims of abuse and domestic violence. I've administered HUD programs to promote permanent housing and social and support services to end homelessness. And I've spoken to more than 10,000 youth, more than 15,000 adults, and I've been president of the Fulbright Association for a number of years. I lead a board, which includes a U of M regent, an Oakland University professor and Fulbright scholar. The regent is a brigadier general in the National Guard, as well as a person on the board who is the chair of community and family medicine for the Michigan State University School of Osteopathic Medicine. I am very honored to be here as a speaker in this wonderful presentation. I'm an American Academic Accreditation Commission commissioner, and a graduate of the law school at American University and an Oral Roberts University Alumnus of the Year, National Christian Higher Education Month honoree, and a United Jewish Endowment funded scholarly legal studies graduate, having studied a session of law in Israel.
Okay, second question. What is the first issue you would tackle and why is it so important?
Well, the first issue has to be tackling jobs and the economy to make our jobs the best jobs and the economy the best it's ever been. Just a few months ago, our country had the best economy it had ever had under the Trump administration. We need to apply the lessons that we can learn from how that came to pass. This is not the time for a career politician. This is a time for those who are willing to take a stand. We need a champion who will disrupt the status quo to create new opportunities that have never been afforded to those who have been disrupted by the current economic upheaval. I specialize in helping those who have endured all sorts of challenges in law and as well as in society. And that's one of the reasons why the State Bar of Michigan selected me as a State Bar Champion of Justice. I fought for justice in the courts and outside of the courts through education, as well as our online institute, and all of these programs that you've heard me talk about, housing, as well as in the community, as a voice for the unheard youth, families, seniors, businesses, workers, veterans, those who need to be heard. And that's why I'm in this race.
Okay, Jeff, thank you so much for giving us an overview of your campaign plans and urging everyone to go out. And remember, August 4th is a very important day for us Republicans. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Remember to visit jeffnutt.com.
Now, Joe Kent, who's running for Oakland County Treasurer, is going to give us an update as to why he's running and why he's qualified. Joe?
Well, thank you. And first of all, I must thank the Bloomfield Republican Women's Club for this wonderful forum and for this opportunity. You know, I'm running for this office because, quite simply, I love Oakland County. I call it the jewel of Michigan. And because I love it, I'll do anything to protect the quality of life that we're so blessed to enjoy here. Beyond that, I think we need a treasurer who will stand up for the people of Oakland County, protect and build on the legacy of excellence of L. Brooks Patterson, and be a strong voice against higher taxes and higher spending. I am a second generation resident of Oakland County. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a leader in my community, I'm a leader in my church. I'm immediate past president of my local Rotary Club, which is one of the world's most impactful community service organizations. I'm also on the board of directors of Crossroads for Youth, which provides foster care, therapy, and schooling for dozens of at-risk children. Professionally, I am a tax and financial professional. In fact, I'm currently celebrating 25 years as a Lake Orion business owner and employer. I've counseled hundreds of Oakland County businesses and individuals on matters pertaining to taxes and business management challenges. I'm licensed by the U.S. Treasury, and I have an MBA from the University of Michigan. What sets me apart is that I practice what I preach. I walk the walk. In 2014, I decided that being an informed voter wasn't all that God had in mind for me. In early 2015, I printed flyers off my office printer and crisscrossed my township to let people know about what was then Proposal 1 to raise Michigan sales tax without any accountability for how the money would be spent. Then I ran for the State House of Representatives. I also became a precinct delegate in 2016. In my House run, it was one of the closest elections in Michigan history. I lost by 15 votes, but I did pick up the endorsement of Right to Life of Michigan, the Michigan Bankers Association, the Michigan Association of CPAs, L. Brooks Patterson, and on and on. So if there's anything I want people to take away from these comments that I feel so fortunate to be able to make here in this forum, it's that I'm on your side, the side of the taxpayers. I want what's best for us and best for future generations. I want our county government to stand both for excellence and fiscal conservatism.
Okay. Joe, what has prepared you to manage a nearly billion-dollar organization?
Well, first of all, thank you for pointing out the billion-dollar figure. Most people are shocked to learn that that's how much money Oakland County takes in and spends each year. But it's a great question. I think the answer falls into two categories, if you will. One is educational/credentials, and one is experience, okay? On the education side, I mentioned that I hold an MBA from the University of Michigan. I was so lucky to study under both a past treasurer in the automotive industry, as well as the founder of the U of M Center for Private Equity Finance, which is a revered entity in the world of venture capital. Experience might be more important, though. There's nothing like burning the midnight oil on behalf of a client who owns a small business and is struggling to do the best for their employees and their customers, and to make decisions that will help them be sustainable as businesses. So a great deal of what I invest my time in has to do with those objectives. And over the span of 25 years, I've learned that you have to set your sights on excellence, and you have to set your sights on being small. This is a very sort of peculiar combination when people hear it for the first time. But if a business, and I believe this holds true of government as well, is excellent in being small. It means they are excellent in having a close connection to the people being served. And that is what makes them succeed when they're big.
Okay, thank you. Second question, how do you plan to defeat the Democrat in the general election if you win the primary?
You know, hopefully everyone who is watching this recording wants to get President Trump into the end zone. I know I do. That is job one. We must retain the office of the presidency. It's almost a cliche to talk about elections being pivotal, but oh my goodness, right now we are at a particularly unique moment in time. And so the same things that are going to help us carry President Trump into the end zone in Oakland County are the things that are going to help us capture not just the treasurer's office, but all of the leadership offices that we so badly need to have control of.
Okay.
Those things are blocking and tackling, talking to our neighbors, our friends, our business associates, our families, being active on social media, not in a belligerent way, but in an informative way, so that A, everyone knows there's an election, because believe it or not, they forget, and B, that they really have good facts that they're basing their decisions on.
Well, thank you so much, Joe. This has been valuable, and we'll be looking forward to being able to share your candidacy with all of our members in our extended list. So thank you so much. Want to introduce Tina Barton. Tina's going to bring us up to date on why she's the best candidate for clerk and register of deeds for Oakland County. Tina?
Thank you, Linda. I am the city clerk for the city of Rochester Hills. I have served as an election administrator for over 15 years. I have 30 years of government experience. I have a Master of Arts degree in management and leadership. I am a Liberty University graduate. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. I am certified as an international master municipal clerk and a Michigan professional municipal clerk by the MAMC. I serve on the Election Security Commission appointed by the Secretary of State. I also serve on the Election Assistance Commission Board of Advisors appointed by the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I have received a Cleary Award for election innovation, and under my leadership, Rochester Hills was the first city in Michigan to conduct a risk limiting audit pilot. It's considered to be the gold standard of election audits across the country. I have been honored by Leadership Oakland as a leader of leaders in public service and by the MAMC as the City Clerk of the Year. I'm the president of the Oakland County Clerks Association. I am a professional clerk, and my primary opponent is an attorney with no experience in local government or county government. So I would ask for your support in August. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Couple of questions. What's your position on mail-in versus electronic versus in-person voting?
Well, thank you for the question. So we have to recognize the fact that Proposal 18.3 did pass in 2018, and with that, it changed our Constitution, allowing that anyone has access that is a registered qualified voter to an absentee ballot without providing a reason. And so as a clerk, obviously my oath is that I need to uphold and support the Constitution. So in that particular situation, obviously that is something that is constitutional, that someone has the right to an absentee ballot. When it comes to electronic voting, I'm not in favor of that with a small caveat. So I'm not in favor of ballot marking devices, or BMDs as they're called in the election world, where people can go in and electronically vote and cast their ballot. However, I am in favor of a ballot marking device being at every precinct, so that someone who is disabled has the ability to cast a vote in secrecy as the rest of us do. So again, not in favor of them for the majority of the voters. However, it is a necessary thing that we have that for the 88 communities so that they can vote. And I will be supportive of that. Thank you.
Oh, the other part of that is how much influence or control does the county clerk have over those processes?
So again, some of those things are already in election law or in the Michigan Constitution of the way that we do things. I can use my influence and my position to educate and to lobby those that are in elected officials, elected positions that have the ability to make changes at the state level and maybe even at the federal level. One thing that I do is I speak nationally right now on the need for paper ballots. I am a proponent of that. I think that we have to have paper ballots in our elections across the country. It is the only way that we have a verifiable paper trail where we can perform an audit that allows us to see that the winner is the winner, the loser is the loser, and that the programming on the election machine, the optical scan that processed the ballot, actually counted the ballot as cast.
Second question, if you win the primary, how do you plan to defeat the Democrat in the general election?
Well, first of all, I'm a hard worker. I am willing to get out there and work hard to win this race. Also, I am known across the country with different groups as a collaborator, and I will continue to be a collaborator. Additionally, I will win with truth. And the truth is that Lisa Brown has really let us down. And if you remember back in August of 2018, there were communities across this entire county, specifically even those in the south end of the county with higher populations, that ran out of ballots at the precinct. And I promise you, as your county clerk, when you arrive at a precinct to vote, there will be a ballot there for you to vote on.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time to share your qualifications and your plans with us, Tina.
Thank you, Linda. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Well, Patrick would like to welcome you to your election presentation. So will you just take over and tell us about yourself, please?
My name is Patrick Wilson. I'm running for Oakland County Clerk, Register of Deeds. I currently reside in Bloomfield Township with my lovely wife, Lauren, and my 2 young girls. I'm a young Republican and a lifelong resident of Oakland County. I'm currently running because I decided it was just time to get involved. I grew up in Oakland County at a time under Brooks Patterson's leadership when we flourished. And this county really grew and led the country. And that's what Oakland County was known for, was leading the country. And in a short period of time, I've watched Democratic leadership start to erode these policies. And I just really thought that with this, that the county needed some young Republican leadership so that we can get back to best practices in Oakland County, and especially the clerk position can start to not only lead statewide, but nationwide.
Okay.
I'm currently working as an attorney here in Oakland County. I have 2 offices, one in downtown Rochester, one in Hazel Park. We are a small family law firm. I work with my uncle and my father, and I've been doing that for the past 13 years.
Okay. Question. What is your position on mail or mail-in versus electronic versus in-person voting, since that's such a hot topic right now?
Well, I think that, and I'll start with in-person voting, is I think that it's very important that people should be able to go to the polls, feel safe doing so, and that going to the polls really is an American tradition, and that we need to keep that up. And then we move into absentee voting. If people want to vote absentee, they obviously have the right to do it, and we have no question asked policy. But I didn't think it was right that we send a absentee voter application to every single registered voter in the state of Michigan. I think that our Secretary of State heard that Donald Trump didn't like it, said, well, whatever Donald Trump doesn't like, I'm going to do the opposite of Trump did. So she went ahead and basically sent this out because Donald Trump said he didn't like it.
How much influence does the county clerk have over those kinds of decisions and policies, though?
The county clerk's job really is not to legislate, it's to make sure that we follow the law.
Okay. Well, how do you plan to defeat that Democrat in the general election if you win the primary?
Well, I think it really goes back to that when you're elected to a position, you accept the responsibility to make sure that the job is done right. And in 2018, we had a election where people were really hindered in the voting process. They weren't. There was a shortage of ballots, and that ballot shortage really fell at the top of leadership. Our current county clerk didn't do her job, and when you don't do your job, you have to accept the responsibility. So going against her really was run more of a grassroots campaign, and I think that all around this county needs some younger Republican leadership to take over and get this county back on track.
Well, thank you very much, Patrick. Our club believes that taking control of the county is absolutely critical to our future. So I appreciate you taking the time to give us your background and your reasons for running. Thank you so much.
You reside in live in Bloomfield Township?
I live in Independence Township.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in Lake Orion.
Oh, okay. But our club, we have members from all over Oakland.
All over the county. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. You do have.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Greetings, friends. My name is Robert Buxbaum. I'm running for Water Commissioner, Republican, for Oakland County, Michigan. I'm an engineer, and I think I can do the job better than the fellow who's doing it now. There are 3 or 4 major issues facing the water department now. They include the price of your water, the flooding we've had a few years back and today with sewage backing up into basements and to highways and poisoning the parks and metro beaches. We've also had pipe breaks and heavy metals found in the water. All of these are engineering issues. Many of them are being addressed now by means that I think are overly expensive and unlikely to work particularly well. To pick my least favorite project that the current fellow would like to do, he'd like to build a 4-mile long tunnel cistern, which is basically a giant swimming pool underground, 100 feet down, 4 miles long, near where I-75 is. The price per stored gallon of water will be out of this world. And the disruption of traffic, the engineering issues, and we're going to have to all pay for that. That's why your water bill is so high. There are much cheaper ways to do this. The cheapest and nicest, I think, is a variation on what's called a French drain. And the water will go out through the Red Run without having to be treated in the Detroit sewer system. Many other issues. There's arsenic and lead in some water in our county, in the southwest of our county. Elect me. Thank you.
Well, Robert, thank you so much for giving us an overview of what your thoughts are on the Water Commissioner's responsibilities. So we have a few questions for you, if you could answer them, please. Do we have the risk in Oakland County of what the residents of Midland recently experienced?
Okay. Oakland County has roughly 50 to 100 dams. More than half of them are in good shape. The other half that are in lousy shape, almost all of them are in places where there are relatively few homes downstream. That may not be comfort to the people downstream, but that's the case for almost all the others. There are 1 or 2 dams in Oakland County that are in bad shape that have significant numbers of people downstream. And those dams are under the auspices of the water commissioner with a board. Each dam and each drain has its own board. And it's up to them to fix it, or it's up to them to get it fixed. I personally, I would say the biggest danger a dam is for the people of Holly.
Okay.
There's a dam on the Shiawassee that's in very poor shape.
Okay. Second question. When there are issues that are important to the citizens of Oakland County, how will you communicate to them?
Well, I have two options, and I'm going to use both. Well, okay. The first option, which is what the current commissioner does, is town hall meetings. He goes out to the community, he makes a presentation in the library, in a high school, and I plan to continue that, especially when there's an issue that comes up. Unfortunately, usually he does that after some disaster. Like when there's a big flood in the neighborhood, he shows up to say, really, we're on top of it, don't worry. I hope that I won't have that pattern, but that's method one. Method two, which is more a public service, is I keep up a fairly active Twitter, Facebook presence, Select Bucksbaum, where I talk about things pretty much in brief. Mainly just passing on articles that are relevant from like Bridge Magazine and the news. And finally, for those few people who want to get into the nitty-gritty, I have a blog where I have all sorts of mathematics. I have all sorts of more detail about things that are important. For instance, some parts of the Republican Party have been worried about fluorine in the water. So I did a deep dive into the chemistry of fluorine and decided that if you have too much, it's bad. But as far as I could determine, we have just about the perfect amount of fluorine.
Specific and detailed information on your website too. So we're asking.
Yeah.
I'm welcoming Steve Johnson. Steve is running for the Water Commission. Steve's going to bring us up to date on why he's running and what he intends to accomplish. Steve?
Yes, so I'm Steve Johnson, running for the Water Resource Commissioner position. It's a big responsibility, and I would say that without water, we're nothing. Water is life, and there's a lot of rules and regulations that need to be complied with and enforced. But what we want are good, clean water supplies and water services for drainage and sewage and so on, and safety of all of that for everyone. And we have some issues that are important and kind of a ticking time bomb, if you will, with the infrastructure getting older. Some of our infrastructure is, near 100 years old in some of the older communities like Pontiac and so on. And I think that the incumbent recognizes that. Probably everyone running recognizes that. But I think that there's been a lack of leadership in getting things done in a way of more than just fixing problems as they occur. We need to go in, identify where potential trouble spots are, and improve and renew that infrastructure. So that said, I'm an analytical sort of person, creative, naturally curious, and professionally, I've been in the technology field for a long time, various types of electronics and controls and that sort of thing. So all of those are important for applying new technology to the infrastructure problems that we have. So the initiative, the creativity, and the leadership to follow through and get our infrastructure in shape is probably my biggest priority. Thank you.
Steve, do you believe that Oakland County is at risk for the kind of catastrophe that Midland just experienced?
Well, I think that there's a few things that we could point to. Midland is certainly an example. We can look at the Flint water crisis. And if you remember, it was on the news, I guess maybe a little over a year ago, that big blob of sewage in Macomb County. So I think all of those things are certainly potential problems that need to be addressed. And those are just the sort of things that I'm speaking of when I talk about infrastructure.
And how will you communicate concerns to the community? And do you plan to use social media, or how would you keep us up to date on what our problems and issues are?
Well, I've subscribed to it myself, and there is an email feed from the county that people can subscribe to. So that's more of an opt-in sort of thing, but certainly social media and just regular reporting through other media sources. Not everyone is a computer user or a social media user. Some folks still read the newspaper. So we want to make sure that we get information out that is relevant to people's situation in a variety of media outlets, multimedia sort of approach to it. My local town, I guess, is we don't have really a real downtown in Highland, so Milford is kind of my closest downtown area, for those that don't know where Highland is.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Steve, and we're encouraging all of our members who are very active politically to pay attention to this primary, make sure they vote. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Linda.